Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Ooh, man. When we think about a warrior,
we think about what it means to fight for your legacy, what it means to fight for your family. We're in a battle every day. But the first battle is conquering our own egos, conquering our own selfish desires. And that's what we get to do here on TYRO TV is talk about how do you overcome you.
Now, how do we know what we know, right? Because we know a lot about overcoming obstacles and challenges in order to have successful reentry and build a legacy of strong families. And how we know that is not because we're researchers, not because we went and read up a bunch of information, but because we lived to tell about it. We spent 15 years in the prison system, Ron doing time on the inside, and the kids and I doing the time on the outside, and we learned a lot about what it means to face the challenges and overcome them in order to create a brand new legacy.
So with TYRO Dads, we've been able to really conquer a lot of barriers and help others overcome the issues and situations that they're facing in their life. To have not the victim mentality, but to have the victor mentality. Right?
So, TYRO TV is part of our way of helping inspire you and provide information to you that will help you right now where you are, even while you're still in prison. And so we try to get topics, and as a matter of fact, we thank you when you send in ideas on things that you want to hear about and keep doing that. But today, we have a very special guest with us because I know that when you hear TYRO testimonials, it inspires you and helps you to keep going forward, keep pressing forward.
Today we have Danny Clark. Danny Clark has been with the TYRO world, the TYRO alumni, and since 2013, and we are so privileged and so honored to have him here with us today. He took time out of his busy schedule to come and share really what he's experienced as being a TYRO, how he's awakened, and how not only is becoming successful where he's at now, but maintaining that type of success through all the struggles, what it means to re-enter into society, leaving a correctional facility and re-entering into a world where, it's not so friendly it's not felony friendly.
That's right.
Right?
So you're going to want to stay tuned because you are not going to want to miss this inspirational story that Danny Clark is going to be here and share with you what he's been through, where he's at now, and where he's headed.
So stay tuned and we will be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. To own it, you'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO.
And today we have a great special guest with us by the name of Danny Clark. Danny, don't be nervous, man.
Hey, Danny, good to see you.
How are you, sir?
Good, and yourself?
Wonderful,
Good,
wonderful.
Good.
Well,
welcome to TYRO TV.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you. I know you, Danny, drove a little bit of a distance, about an hour drive to get here, and so we are so thankful that you took time of your busy schedule to come and be with us and to share with the dads and the men inside the penitentiary, what it means to stay out, what it means to be alive and be free, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So why don't you start with telling us, how did you originally even get connected with the TYRO program?
I got connected back in 2013 by a man by the name of Willie Knighton. He had come to me and spoke to a bunch of us actually in a correctional treatment facility, basically about how to become a better father. And I thought to myself, being the situation I'm in, I need to learn as much as I can about how to be a better father so when I come out, I can see my daughter and actually become who I was trained to be.
There it is,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
So how long have you been out?
I've been out for, 5 years now.
Oh, congratulations.
Woo, that's awesome.
That's what we're talking about.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's what we're talking about. So since coming home and coming.
Well, I can even go back.
Okay,
before
we'll go back
that.
more?
Yeah. So tell us about. We'll have you tell them later, like what your life is like now. But before TYRO, before all of this, what was your life like?
Oh, my life was like waking up in the morning and chasing that next bag, trying to find that next high. And if I didn't have any money in my pocket, I was trying to find out how I can get that money, whether it came down to stealing or deceiving or just plain up going to get it from the dope dealer.
Right.
You know, I was a horrible person. I was mean to my mother, my father, my daughter. I wasn't a great husband. I was basically a man on the couch, you know. I was the outcast of the family, you know. I was a man worth watching rather than a man worth following.
Yeah. Watch him.
Exactly. You know,
Oh my goodness.
nobody in my family liked me. They didn't want me around for Christmases. If they did, they handed out their gifts and they took them straight to the car.
Oh wow.
I never went to any weddings. You know, I was basically a nobody.
Wow.
I was just that guy, you know.
Wow.
Well, I tell you what, the man I know today is not the poison, but the antidote.
Right.
And we are really very proud of you, of what you've been able to accomplish. But you've also been through a lot since coming home.
Yeah.
You know, you've had a lot of experiences with maybe even near-death experiences, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, I mean, I would like for you to talk about that in a little bit. But let me ask you this. If there was one word, or maybe a couple words, that really exemplify being a dad, right? And what you
What
get
it
at,
means to you.
what it means to you, what would that be?
It means everything.
There you go.
Everything. That's why I wake up in the morning. That's why I do what I do. You know, instead of thinking about how to get that first high, I think about when my daughter's coming and what I'm going to
that's
do with her.
Awesome.
You know, instead of thinking about sitting there with my buddies, I think about what I'm going to go do with my daughter and what the next sport is or what I'm going to teach her today.
that's
Oh,
good.
that's
You know,
awesome.
what she's going to learn from me. So that's what it means to me.
That's good
that's
stuff.
powerful, Danny. That's powerful.
good stuff.
And what's really awesome is so we have family days, right? And so we recently started there, and like to see, and of course Facebook that connects us, and to see Danny not just talking about it, but like living it. It's so inspiring to us because it's like that's what our desire is to see people step up and into that role and lead their family well. And you're doing such a tremendous job, Danny.
Thank you.
Well, we're
So
proud of you
excited.
because we get to see it, and you do post on social media, you and your experiences you're having with your daughter, and we are excited for you and always rooting for you.
Yeah.
You know, because we know it's not easy being a single dad, right, and trying to hustle and make things end meet, and still be there to provide for your little girl as best you can. You know, but we know that you're on a track of success. We know you're on a path of success. You know, and you're not waiting for somebody to do it.
Right.
We always see you moving. You're getting it done.
Right.
That's right. You know what? Let's take a short break here because what we want to do when we come back is have you, Danny, tell us what your life's been like since you were released, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and where you are today.
Awesome.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And today we have a special dear friend of ours in the house by the name of TYRO Danny Clark. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So before the break, we were listening to Danny tell us about his pre-Tyro life, and he used the phrase, he was not a man worth following, he was a man worth watching. Like, wait, watch him, you better watch him.
I followed your finger.
Yeah, watch it. So now, Danny, we want to hear about since those days, since you became a Tyro, since you've been released. Tell us about what's been happening your whole life, all the adventures.
Since I was released, it was hard to find any kind of work being a felon. And I'm a 2-time felon, so that was a double whammy. I had my CDL Class A, so I had to build up enough courage to go back to my old employer, which wasn't easy because they remember a heroin addict, the bad guy.
So it took courage.
It took a lot of courage and a lot of pride, and I had to swallow it because of my daughter.
So humility.
Yes. So I marched into the office of the owner, and I asked for my job back. And he says, I'm going to give you a shot. And you're going to drive the crappiest truck I have, and you're going to do the best work out of anybody.
Oh, nice.
So I took on the challenge, and lo and behold, within a 3-month period, I became their top driver.
That's awesome.
I was their team leader. I was very well respected. Everybody knew who I was and where I came from. And basically what had happened is I was working with Willie Knighton, who had talked to me and taught me.
Yep.
And we had gotten an open-ended letter for all the Tyros to go to Class A CDL training at a local truck driving school.
Yep.
And they all came to where I was working and got jobs, and I've trained them all.
Awesome.
Wow,
That's awesome.
Yes, and a lot of them.
So cool.
A lot of them are out there today making $100,000 a year, driving trucks.
Legally. That's right.
Legally.
That's awesome.
I had trained a guy, and he came up and thanked me afterwards, and he was 40-something years old, and he thanked me for teaching him because he had taken home his very first paycheck ever to his wife.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
That's
and it
awesome.
wasn't me, it was that man.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He got in there and he did it. And I was very humble about where I was at, and I wasn't strutting around with a crown on my head thinking I was the king. I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And then I started getting other companies offering me jobs as their leaders.
Right.
And I was just in high heaven. I had moved out and I had my own apartment in Sylvania with an in-ground pool.
Wow.
I felt great about myself. And then
Because you earned it.
I'd earned it all on my own.
That's right.
And I woke up. I wasn't dope sick anymore.
Nice.
Awesome.
Delivered.
I felt great. It was me and my daughter, and my daughter got to come to my house on my terms.
Yeah.
And sit in a little chair by the pool and relax like she should.
Oh, that's awesome.
I had became best friends with my ex-wife. It started out rough when I first got out because she didn't know who I was or what I was about. And then she had seen and started to learn who and what I was about. And I had no visitation rights when I got out.
Right.
And
You had to earn all that back too.
I earned it all back.
That's awesome.
I take her whenever I want. She basically lives with Daddy.
Is that awesome?
Yeah, she wants to come.
So we're talking about redemption. We're talking about reconciliation.
Yes.
Restoration.
Man.
And then came a day, September 28th, 2015, where all that came to a halt. I wouldn't say it came to a halt. I'd say a pause.
Right.
Okay.
It was the end of the day, and I was on my last load of the day working at the airport, actually, taking stone on my truck, and some lady had pulled out in front of me. And to avoid hitting her head on, and basically I would have ended her life if I would have hit her head on, I had grabbed my wheel and yanked my truck over so it laid on its side and basically went from hitting her head on to clipping her front end.
Wow.
I was knocked unconscious. I had a broken jaw in 3 different places. I was life flighted to Toledo Hospital, and I was placed in the ICU. And while waiting to have my jaw repaired, I had thrown pulmonary embolisms, and I had blood clots fill my chest entirely. And it had shut down my heart and I had a piece go to my brain and caused me to have a stroke. I had died on the way to the operating room, and I was dead for a total of 25 minutes. I had to go through 2 open heart surgeries where they cracked my chest, and I basically laid there. I woke up, in the morning after the surgeries and seen I had a gigantic hole in my chest. And I knew my jaw was wired shut, but I didn't know what happened after that. I woke up and seen that, and then I looked around the room, and my entire room was filled with people.
Wow.
And my sister leaned over and asked me, she said, "Danny, do you know what happened?" I said, "No, I don't." She told me, first of all, the hospital was shut down because of all the people trying to get in to come and see you.
Wow.
And secondly, you had a heart attack and died.
Wow.
And there, I started crying, and up popped my daughter's head. And a smile came onto my face. And I was thinking to myself, everything I had accomplished was gone in a split second. And I began to wonder, how am I going to get it all back?
Right.
And it popped into my head the same way you did it before.
That's right.
Wow. Basically get out and get back on your feet. I laid in the hospital.
I'm going to pause you here for a second.
Okay.
Look at the difference just from that, from the before story where nobody wanted around you, nobody was inviting you anywhere, you were the outcast, nobody wanted to be around you. And now here you are in the hospital, and there's so many people. I'm so choked up. So many people, because you'd affected so many lives for good that people couldn't help but want to be there for you when you needed strength.
Yes.
How powerful. I mean, just right there, like if it just ended there, Danny, what an incredible legacy,
So,
right?
Danny,
but that's not the end of the story. That's what's like,
And it is truly a miracle that
you're
you're here
alive.
today, that you're alive today, and hearing more detail about the story of what happened. I'm honored and I'm blessed. We are blessed to have you here with us.
Thank you.
But I'm ready for part 2 of the story, but I don't know how we're doing for time. And so, but I do have one question for you. Go, Danny. When you woke up and you had the mind battle, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose it all. But I can't help but think, when you saw your little girl, that was that inspiration that ignited you
to say I can do it.
I can do it again. And man,
You know what? So let's take another break real quick.
Yep.
And when we come back, we're going to hear the rest of the story from Danny Clark. You do not want to miss this. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And today we are honored and blessed to have a TYRO with us that has been through through hell and back, right? He's been through ordeals and stuff, but and that's one thing we want to share with you about what it means to be a TYRO. We want to talk to you about being empowered to tell your story. We talk about empowering others. We get to do this every day, and we love, despite what our story is, it's still our story. But what's your story now? And
so we are so excited. Danny was telling us, we started out with this show, and he told us about what his life was like before. Then he talked about meeting Willie and having him as an instructor and all the things that opened up for him as being a TYRO, and then putting his own hard work and earning a place of statue, right, and respect and honor in his daughter's life and in the community and the workplace.
So he went from he went from reinventing himself to reinvesting back into people's lives.
To reinvesting. And then he just shared with us his story on the tragic moment that he had an accident, and that the reason that he was injured so badly is that he protected somebody else's life and put his life on the line. And then waking up in the hospital. And so we're going to pick up there. For those of you that are just joining us, I wanted to recap. And so now Danny's going to tell you what happened from that moment of waking up and what's happened since.
I was worried, because I had to rebuild my life after getting out of incarceration by myself. I was worried to death, given my health conditions, that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then my sister had leaned over and told me that a couple of the local biker clubs were holding benefits for me.
Wow.
And they basically built up enough funds to help me get back on my feet. And given where I was before my incarceration, and given where I am at now, for somebody that I didn't even know hold a benefit for me, was just amazing. My daughter was there, and she was walking around like she was a grown lady, taking care of everybody around, and it was a huge inspiration because I can't let her down.
Right.
She needed me. So I was getting better. I was in the hospital for a month and a half. I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had thrown numerous blood clots while I was in the hospital, so that complicated things. And when I had gotten out of the hospital, I was working to better myself. And I was still on probation, and my probation officer had retired, and I had gotten a new one. Well, before I was even given a chance to show him my paperwork and explain the situation, he had locked me up. He had locked me up 3.5 weeks out of 4 that I knew him.
Whoa.
And basically explained to the judge that given I'm a recovering heroin addict, I had relapsed and I was using drugs the entire time, and basically made me out to be the bad guy all over again. And I didn't have a chance to speak. So the Honorable Judge English had sentenced me to 6 months in a work release program. I'm blessed that he had did that, because I was taking opiates, which was eventually going to lead me down that path. And I looked at the man, and he had told me, you are not allowed to take any more painkillers, whether or not they're prescribed to you. And given my blood condition, I'm not allowed to take Tylenol, aspirin, or anything like that because it messes with my levels. So my doctor had wrote the judge a letter explaining to him, this is what you're going to take, and he cannot take anything else. Well, the judge says, no, I don't care. If you take one more painkiller, I'm sending you to prison for the rest of your term, which was 24 months plus a reserve sentence of another 12 months.
Wow.
So 36 months. Well, I had to undergo a jaw surgery because, my jaw was mangled and I had plates in my jaw and they had to yank out the teeth. And they had put the painkillers in me, which, I had to because I was in excruciating pain. And he wrote a letter to the judge, and the judge crinkled it up in front of me and threw it in his trash can. He says, I told you not to take any more painkillers, Mr. Clark. I sentenced you to 6 months in a work release program after spending a month and a half in the county jail.
Wow.
So instead of being bitter,
I'm going to say you had to feel like this is so unfair.
Yes.
Wow.
But I looked at it in a different way. I tried to make it the best of the situation. That he sent me to get help, which was great because I knew eventually I was going to need it to get off of the pain medication. The doctor I was seeing was weaning me off the pain medication, but my judge says no, you're
Right.
gonna go
You're
cold
gonna-
turkey.
Wow.
So I said, okay, this is just another hurdle I gotta do. One more step. So that I did. And I walked into a work release and I sat down with my case manager and he says, I just had a discussion about you with your probation officer and I want to let you know I'm going to be watching you every second. And I told him, I said,
Okay.
that's fine, but I don't appreciate you guys having a powwow without me and bashing my name and you guys don't even really know me.
Right.
You don't know what's happened to me.
Right.
He says, I don't really care.
Yeah.
So basically, it wasn't a very pleasant place to be, with people eyeballing and thinking you're somebody different than who you actually are. To give you an example, I had to drop urine 13 times in 10 days.
Wow. Wow.
And then I had to undergo surgeries on my legs because, I had an IVC filter in my chest that had clogged. And 90% of the circulation to my legs is gone. So I only had 5% circulation. So I had to undergo a bunch of tests and surgeries, narcotic free. I couldn't be sedated. I couldn't go under. I couldn't do nothing. I had to lay there and take it,
Oh my gosh.
which was a small price to pay. I have found the difference between mental and physical pain and which one is stronger. And mental pain is way worse than physical pain. Physical pain is temporary. Mental is
So
permanent.
let me go back a little bit, Danny, because what I hear you talking about is they based a lot of their decisions about you based upon the old you.
Yes.
Right.
So they didn't have time to meet the new you.
No.
Right.
So all they had judgment to read about or to remember about is, we don't know who this guy is. We know
Right.
who he was.
was
And
before.
so they may not be saying who he was. They're saying, because they're seeing it fresh and still open wounds for them. So they were basing their decisions upon
Your original conviction and who you
your
were
reputation.
before then. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yep.
so what I hear you saying is that you were able to, you
I'm not going to take it personal.
I'm not, because that's not who I am anymore.
Right.
But you don't know that, so
Correct.
I'm going to continue this high road of thinking, and show you,
prove you. And
prove to
show it to you, not tell it to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Danny.
And I left work release. I completed it. I did every single day I was sentenced to. I didn't ask for half time. I didn't ask for any good days. Later on down the road, somebody else that I worked with was in work release. And my case manager had actually came out there and ran into me. And he says, Danny, I want to thank you for the amount of respect that you showed me. And thank you
Wow.
for doing what you've done.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is
Said, yeah, he said, I was wrong, completely wrong about you.
Wow.
That's that.
That's
That's when those
powerful.
moments happen, and you triggered a story of me since being out. Also, and I want to commend you for not taking the low road, because back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
we would have took it personal, and you would have proved to them right, because that's okay. You know what? If you're gonna call me that, then I'm gonna be that.
Right.
Right? I'm gonna be, and I'm really, really proud of you, man.
Thank you.
That you lived up to a man of honor that you said at the beginning. What got you up in the morning? Your little girl. What motivated you? I'm not gonna go that crooked path. I'm gonna stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do this. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So,
Awesome.
so what are you doing now?
So, well, you know what? Let's hold that question real quick, because I know we're running out of time on this segment. So when we come back, we're gonna hear about what Danny's doing now, and
And he's going to give
Yep.
you some advice of
Yep.
things you can do right now to be prepared to stand your ground
Yep.
for righteousness when you come home. So stay
Stay
tuned.
tuned.
You don't want to miss this.
we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine Tiarina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you're just now catching on, you got to say, hey, play this again, because we are having an amazing time with TYRO Danny Clark and hearing his story from being released.
From before going
from-
to prison, from getting convicted and becoming a TYRO, and what life has done since then.
You know, so we want to continue this story. We only got a few more minutes left of this show, and we want to honor this time with Danny. So, Danny.
Tell us what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Tell us about your life.
Nowadays, I've dedicated most of my time to my daughter and make sure she grows up properly and teaching her life on life's terms and how to handle it. You know,
That's awesome.
she's getting devastated and fed up with things, and she wants to quit, and I won't let her. You know,
Yeah,
I
that's awesome.
I push her along.
Yes.
You know, I've dedicated a lot of my time to making sure she understands who I was, who I am now, and how I want her to be.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Around Christmas time, instead of getting, we give.
Wow.
We do
that's
things
awesome.
for other people.
Yeah.
You know, Thanksgiving is the same way. We actually went and some guy was holding a sign, and, you know, I was telling her, you know, we need to give to these people. She wanted to take a guy who was holding a sign out to dinner.
Oh, that's
So I said,
awesome.
okay, you know, I said, sir, you know, come on, you know, legitimately, he was a legit guy instead of, you know, a guy.
Panhandler, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we went out to dinner with him. You know, I want her to understand that it's okay to do these things.
To help people.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Wow,
Yes,
that is
and
amazing.
That's all I'm doing nowadays. You know, I'm disabled. I can't really do too much because of the wreck and the surgeries and whatnot. So,
But Dan, okay, you say that,
Yeah.
but you are discounting the tremendous impact you're having in your community and in your
Yes.
daughter's life.
yeah,
So you're an active member of TYRO alumni community,
I am.
mentoring and helping guys overcome obstacles. Like, what an incredible man you have
Well,
become.
I know from the other Tyros, and then get connected with you, Danny. You know, you have not given up this race. You're in this race to win it, and you're running hard. And other Tyros are noticing, and they're seeing it, talking about it.
And they're inspired by you.
They are. They say, you know, here's a situation, but you got up and you didn't go back. You didn't
Yeah,
go
that's
back to
right.
the street life and go back to that negative type of hustle. But you're hustling now by saving lives.
Yeah,
You know?
that's powerful, powerful.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to an end. Is there any one or two
Yeah.
things that you would say to dads who are still in prison as they're thinking about coming home? What could you tell them?
never give up. Felonies are just labels. You can do whatever you want. The sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. Put your children and your family first. Take time out of each day, just an hour, to gather with your family, whether it's dinner or ice cream, and just enjoy that time with your children and your wife. Always make them smile. Teach them the way you want them to be taught, and do what you want them to do.
That's powerful.
That's a good word. That's a good
really
word.
good
Danny, I want to, again, man, thank you so much for driving out here.
Not a
So
problem.
grateful.
We are
Thank you so
grateful,
much,
you know,
Steve.
and I appreciate you wearing a TYRO shirt out here. That's
Woohoo!
awesome.
Thank you. I like
Thank
it.
you, man. Thank
That's
you.
right.
Fits
That's
well.
awesome.
So you know, this has been an amazing show for us, and we are totally blessed. It's good to see people live, because there's life after penitentiary, gentlemen.
right.
There's life after penitentiary. But if you find yourself lost and not sure about it, check out a facilitator. Sign up for TYRO Dads, because I know that if there's one in your prison, call for one.
I am
Right?
sure that today has inspired
Yep.
you towards greatness, and I just want to encourage you to hang on to that feeling and keep moving forward and creating
Yep.
your new legacy.
Yep.
We want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey.
And always remember
Until next time.
that we are rooting for you.